Hey, how's it going, everybody? Gabriel here. This is the Speaking of Harmony podcast, and this is episode 16. Thank you so much for the feedback. It's been great. Thank you for you guys for checking out the live feed. I did a couple of days ago. There's another one coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll be sending the invite for your emails and stuff, so sign for the mailing list, get in my mailing list if you haven't done so. You're gonna be able to figure out what I'm doing, when I'm doing stuff, and there's a lot of stuff coming up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing notifications, and this is all my social media stuff. And thank you so much for being following me and doing all this great feedback and great questions. Really interesting. Really loved it. Someone actually asked me a question and asked me to talk a little bit about sequences, because I was showing a bunch of parallel stuff the other day, and then there's all a bunch of sequences inside, right? I can talk a little bit about sequences. It's not really a super complicated thing to talk about. It's just sequence. You can sequence something, diatonically, meaning you can use the same key you are in, so kind of respecting the same notes of the key, or you can do something like non-diatonic, which you just kind of get an interval and just kind of sequence, like following that pace, right? Let's say example of like a diatonic sequencing is like some two chords that you see, and you kind of go through the keys of the degrees of the tonality. Like Bach used to do this like years ago, right? You have this, they say in E minor, so you go I have A minor, the 7, then you have G major, C, then F sharp, B, E, because you have E minor, so you kind of like inside the key of E minor, right? So Bach used to do stuff like right, just polyphonically, but he's kind of following that same harmonic framework, like right, which means he's doing like right, E7, A minor, D7, then that gets sequenced to G major, C, gets sequenced to F sharp, B, and then E, right? But that happens this way because it's diatonic, so it's following the key of E minor, right? But you can do like non-diatonic sequences basically, and just kind of decide what kind of pace you want to use. For instance, if you can do something like let's say I kind of mess around with this little exercise so you can practice. Like for instance, you take two chords like C major 9 whatever, and then F major 7 sharp 11 maybe, you can have a melody in that. And then what I'm doing is I am actually using a pace of a minor third going up, right? So it would be something like this, like so I ended here in G flat, right? But I see I'm doing C major, then F major, then I'm going a minor third up to E flat major, E flat major 7 sharp 11, then I'm going a third up again, and I just end the sequence with a chord. So you can end the chord on whatever whatever place you want to be, whatever fits your melody, whatever one is really free. You can experiment with that. It's just an example, right? So you can do right? Just a quick example so you can practice that, right? You can do more sort of parallel movement stuff, as we talked about a lot, but with a sequence. So a little thing I did in the beginning, just a little tune I wrote not long ago, recently, which kind of messes with that. So it's basically D minor, A minor, right? Minor, D minor 9 and A minor 11, whatever. And then I just sequence that right? So I just took that and walked through a sequence through a whole step pace, right? A second, right? So I did. Then I did. And then. And then I finish in G minor, right? So. Right? This is just a sequence I did. And then I did this melody, you know. That's it. That's just a little tune I wrote, right? And then I'm gonna play that a little bit so you can see these chords in action. It's really cool, you know. You can get like a nice sort of like color because they just about the color, right? You just expose a certain color, and then you just keep sequencing that and moving around, and then, you know, arrive at the place that you want, basically, right? So I'm gonna play that little play along thing I did here, and then you see me playing those chords, and I'm gonna be soloing over it as well. I'm gonna be applying some of these concepts I have been talking about, of like also trying to do the opposite. So with this sequencing like down, I'm gonna try sometimes to do the melody that's going up to get some kind of a contrast, right, from this melody. And also I'm gonna use some chords, some rootless like chords that I haven't been talking about yet, but I will in further episodes for sure, you know. Some of these chords, right? So let's play, and then let's see what happens, right? To be a little short episode, I'll finish up with this play along. Well, thank you so much for the question, and keep them coming, you know, because there's always some stuff to talk about, right? Keep them coming, and you know, I'll end with the play along. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell, thing notifications. This is all my social media stuff. Sign up for the mailing list so you can figure out when I'm doing the live stuff. I'm doing one tomorrow, and I'm gonna send an email with the times and everything. So thank you so much, and here's the new tune that has no name yet. It's just Gem 128, right? We're gonna hear a click, 2 bars, and then we're gonna go in. So let's see what happens. There we go. Coming in now with the click.